Hello and Assalamu alaikum. Today we're going to starting a new chapter, operations planning, that is 4.2. First, we have already discussed about chapter 4.1, where we had an introduction of what is operations management and about effectiveness, efficiency, productivity, capital intensive and labor intensive businesses. Now we're going to talking about more about how operations are planned and how they are being carried out. What sort of planning is involved in operations? Basically, we're going to talk about the factors that influence operations management, and we're going to talk about technology. What is the effect of technology on operations, such as camera designing and camera manufacturing, CAD and CM. And we want to also talk about all the different production methods that are used in operations, that is job production, batch production, flow production, and master customization. We're also going to talk about location decisions, as they also directly affect your operations, location and relocation decisions. And finally, we're going to talk about economies of scale and diseconomies of scale. So that's the whole overview of what we're going to do in this chapter. It's going to be one big chapter. So without further ado, let's begin. Operations planning. Operations planning is basically preparing input resources to supply products to meet expected demand. Operations managers are primarily responsible for the timely completion of jobs. Now we have already discussed about what operations management does and what basic functions are, but over here we just say that the primary responsibility that they have is the timely completion of jobs, that a job should be completed in time. Decisions taken by operations management is influenced by three main factors, that is marketing factors, then there's availability of resources, and technology. So marketing factors. The key info needed by an operations manager when planning production is estimated or forecast demand. So if you want to, the info that the operations manager require from marketing department is basically the estimate of forecast market demand, so that they can work accordingly and try to match that demand level. So if accurate forecasts are made by the marketing department, how can that benefit the operations and the overall business? Well, it will allow outputs to match demand level by effective management of inventories and production methods. That's the work of operations for the success for achieving your business objectives. So when they have the accurate forecast, they will know what will be the demand level that they have to meet, and hence they can employ resources effectively manage the inventories and production methods. It will also reduce wastage of production, as only a certain level of stocks are kept just to meet expected demand. So whatever you know will be the demand, you only keep that much stock. You don't keep some extra stock, but there may be some extra stocks to meet unexpected demand, called buffer inventory, or perhaps the business might have good supply relationships, due to which the supplier can cater to special urgent orders made by business due to an unexpected demand increase. So a good business will always be prepared for the unforeseen future. So they will try to have some extra stocks just in case for some unexpected demand rise. So they can either have some extra stocks called buffer inventory, or they could have some good relationships with their supplier. So whenever you place an urgent order or a special order to supplier, they can cater to that efficiently. Availability of resources. The production of all goods and services require resources. What are these resources? These are basically factors of production. We have already discussed that in the first chapter, that what are factors of production? These are the basic things that you need for starting a business, that is land, labor, capital, equipment, and enterprise. The availability or lack of these resources could influence decisions made by operations, such as availability of cheap and skilled labor would mean that a business can enjoy lower labor costs and so have a labor intensive production method. So all these points that I've written down, it's all about just to explain you what sort of influence does the availability of resources have. So for example, if you talk about one of the factors of production, let's say labor, that you have a cheap and skilled labor is available, that means that you will have lower labor costs, and you'll also be able to produce much more effective and much more high quality products due to skilled labor. So you'll have lower costs and greater profits. So if you recruit these cheap and skilled labor, so of course in such situations a business will probably go for a labor intensive production method. That is what the operations will do. Alternatively, it could be also be other way around, that if labor is expensive or minimum wages set by the government is growing, a business might go towards a capital intensive production method. So that will be the most safer way to go. Location is another key factor that directly influences operations, as it's not easy to switch locations and due to which location decisions are taken at the topmost management level. It determines the availability of raw materials, competitors, and convenience to customers. Having less transportation costs for raw materials and less competitors near your location would mean lower costs and hence more efficient management. That is, less inputs and greater output. Capital availability is also very important, as business with greater capital could invest in more advanced or modernized production methods like camera designing and camera manufacturing and enjoy lower cost and greater productivity and production. So overall, labor is also important, so is location as well as capital. All these, the availability of all these resources directly affect your operations management. So we're going to talk more about detail of location in further on the chapter, but about the modern CAD and CAM, what is the technology? That's the third factor. That technology also has a direct effect on operations management. Due to the business environment becoming more and more innovative, better technology like CAD and CAM is available, which greatly increases production and productivity. Now, it increases production as in like the business is able to produce more in the same amount of time, and productivity is that like they are using less inputs and gaining more outputs. The ratio, the measure of efficiency, the efficiency have overall improved, hence their productivity has also improved. What are the benefits of using new technology such as CAD and CAM? Well, improvement in quality of design and manufacture. There will of course be an improvement in quality with due to the use of new technology. There might be more standardized product quality. There will be less room for human error. There will be improved productivity, which means that you can have 24/7 production, as they don't need rest or holidays. Machines, that is, but they do require few maintenance from time to time. So you can't just keep them running along the whole year. No, they will take some breaks, and you might need a few maintenance of machineries, but it they won't require as much as frequent. The maintenance won't be so much frequent as the rest days or holidays of employees, nor will they take much breaks. Machinists will just work more time than these employees. Lower average costs could also be enjoyed if the extra fixed cost of purchasing new technology is high, of course, but it is more than compensated by reduction in operating costs. Overall, your operating costs reduce. Why? Because of this improved productivity. Now, speedier development of new products thanks to a quicker process of product design and development. Since you are able to design and develop at hand to hand with using new technologies such as CAD and CAM, that means there's a speedier development of products. The development stage goes smooth and fast. This leads to more customer choice as well if a variety of products are made with CAM, computer aided manufacturing, that is. Will also have means that more flexible manufacturing may also be possible, but it's definitely not easy. There will be less lead time, there will be less wastage, and high quality finished products made. What is lead time? Lead time is basically the time taken for the reorder and for a business to reorder and the time to receive those stocks. This is not much of an important point when we're discussing technology, so you can just avoid that. I've just written down that because past papers also mentioned this, but that's not one of the key points that we have. The more important points are that the more important benefits are that it improves productivity, there's less room for human error, there's improvement in quality and design, there's speedier development, there's lower average cost, there's more customer choice, and high quality finished goods are made. There's also less wastage. Now, of course, if there are some pros, then that means there are some cons as well. Now, businesses that do not invest in and use new technology may fall behind competitors. There are exceptions such as businesses who have or USP of handcraft furniture. So why is it important to have technologies that nowadays it's important? Competitors are no more and more businesses are using new technology. So if you don't invest in these new technology, you may fall behind competitors unless your business is a niche market or you have some unique USP, unique selling point of handcraft furniture. So that means you can't go to capital intensive production. You have to stay to your labor intensive production. That is your USP, and you might have a competitive advantage. Now, limitations of using new technology. There are higher fixed costs because the high initial cost of installing and updating the new technology, there's a major capital investment required for installing and updating this new technology. Retraining cost is high as equipment is constantly updated to ensure the new technology is used effectively. Demotivation will also occur as automation can lead to skilled workers reduced to machinery operators, leading to reduced levels of worker motivation. So basically, what happens is that the much needed skills, they are not much needed skills of workers. They are just told to do some operate, regulate machineries, perhaps. So there might be some demotivation. But that's when we're talking about general technology. We can also talk about CAD and CAM separately, their benefits and drawbacks or limitations separately in the separate video after this one. There will be loss of jobs, perhaps redundancy, and the need to reorganize the workplace and working environment, all of which may be costly. External threats could be there, like new technology may facilitate outsourcing and transfer of production to more cost effective international areas. And finally, it will take time to implement more technology change into the production system. So it's timely, it's costly, and it might be demotivating as well, but it has its own benefits if it's used properly, if a business focuses on the long term and the external environment stays stable. Unless there's some unexpected changes in demand or something like that, then that could be very devastating for the business. But unless there's such a thing and a business goes smooth with technology, they use it properly, then they will be able to get the most out of it. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching and Allah Hafiz. Hello and Assalam.